still up in his head, whether in his Facebooks or whatever, or plans. I don't know, like, how you doing this, but yeah, great. Okay, Steve Angello Human. Yeah. So I thought of this while I did my break on like tonight, or actually today, like my lunch break at work, and I wanted to put this in a larger perspective. So what I mean by that is that usually what I see on the diverse WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, is that, you know, that they're constant, that the especially the hardcore fans of Steve Angello are constantly, you know, searching for this new material and all that. But what I see very much in Steve Angello is that he changed his music style a lot over the years. So just out of interest, for example, I googled today when Knas was released, so his iconic sample pack based club hit that was released back in 2010, so that's roughly 8 years ago. And it's interesting how it all changed, and that he's basically having very little 4 to the floor tracks on the album, and if they are way slower. So actually that's why I'm having kind of a distance to this album. For many people that's like the revelation. You know, that's like the best album they maybe ever heard, especially the hardcore Steve Angello fans, and will say, well, that's definitely my favorite work of Steve Angello ever. And that's why what I wanted to say is that I am what I want to say is it does not really meet my taste. So there's some stuff on it that I like, that I actually don't mind listening to it while it is on. So there are little tracks on the album where I would say, well, I have to skip this right away. I believe 4 years ago I wouldn't have been ready for it, because back then I was, you know, still like on dance and all that. I'm still on it, so my favorite electronic music is still kind of dance music, or at least what dance music means for me. So that's why I'm still, you know, I'm still like how it is written in my kind of biography, like my bio on Facebook and everywhere on, I believe, YouTube, Insta, wherever, supporter of the groovy and housey sounds, and I'm still like that, because for me electronic music means electronic dance music, or at least the music I can dance to. For example, I cannot dance to Robin Schulz. I cannot dance to Kygo. That is, to me, not electronic dance music. To me, what the public says, or the general meaning or whatever, this is of course a different story. But, you know, it's all about me in the Bisicast. To some extent, I try to be, of course, as objective as possible. But I always, you know, also want to have my own opinion on it, and just to let you know what to think of this. So that's my kind of approach to this whole Human thing, or album. What I like or enjoy about the album, what I believe is also better than on Wild Youth, his previous album, is that it's really like made out of one piece. So in German we say aus einem Guss. And I believe this, you can hear that very well, that it's really like, also like you can check out his saved stories on Instagram under the title Human. And when you actually click a bit further, then you see, I believe it was roughly a week or 2 weeks ago, where he did kind of a Q&A about his album, and he answered a lot of questions there. Among others, there was also the question about how long did it take for you to make this album, and he said, I believe only a couple of months, as far as I remember, and that's mainly due to the fact that it's really like, it's, to me, from a sound design perspective, it sounds like like an album that's made out of one piece. So really, he really didn't take long to make the album. He had already like many ideas in his head, and he kind of finished them rather quickly. So this is definitely positive about the album, and that's maybe why there are so many of you that have different favorite tracks. Because although they kind of have the same genre, I would say, so goes into rather a bit down-tempo electronica, I would call it, mainly, there are still, different synthes, different melodies, different vocals, different atmospheres, and nevertheless, it still sounds like out of one piece. So this is very interesting. This is, I believe, for the first time I kind of feel this. Something that what I liked in the past, for example, was Dash Berlin We Are, which are also, or what is also an album where all the tracks rather sound from the sound design sphere, from the genre here, when it's about the genre, this rather the same, but it was more, uplifting progressive. And, to feel it like on this electronica, this is rather new. And so the album has 21 tracks. I won't play you all of them because I don't want, actually, my brother has a final exam at school tomorrow, so I promised him no longer than 10. So that means 1 hour from now on. And I definitely want to start with Rejoice. I won't play you the whole track, maybe just a few parts. So, and then I come over to my favorite tracks and your favorite tracks. So Rejoice is very interesting because it is a preach by T.D. Jakes. And it was also his opening track for most festivals, especially what I remember last year at A Summer Story in Madrid. Hi Sabrina, by the way, can't wait to meet you on Friday. And wish you, of course, lots of fun tomorrow at Nuremberg with Fede Legrand. And so I rather listen to this preach of Mr. Jakes, and he is right to some extent, yeah? If you really want to make kind of yourself, or actually, go further in your personality, you need to change constantly. I believe this is like kind of the quintessence of, or the essence of his track. Actually, his preach in this track. So we have here very darkish atmosphere. So just to kind of support the speech. What I like very much on this track is when the choir comes in, because this kind of has an epic feeling. I don't know. It's tough to describe. So it drops in at roughly 2 minutes 10. Also very long notes. This is very interesting. They go over several beats. So, and I believe he could have dropped there already, but then actually there's still another part of the preach of Jakes, and then he turns it down. One more part of the preach, and then he drops. I will rejoice. Oh, it's a bit too fast. Sorry for that. So it's actually very slow. I believe I played it already when it was released as a single, roughly half a year ago, I believe. And he drops only there for 15 seconds. So, and then the organs come in. So, when it's about the progression, about the structure, arrangement of the track, very interesting to listen to. So it has really a lot of a progressive track, I would say, although it's not really progressive, it's electronica, yeah? And then, once again, I will rejoice. And now it goes a bit faster. Oh, that's why, okay. Because I kind of messed up the first and the second drop. So tell me, what do you think about Rejoice? Do you like that kind of approach that Steve took here with this preach? So he said, I believe also on his Insta stories, that he got very much inspired by Jakes and his preaches, because he thinks he's he's right in a lot of points, in his life, or like in his preaches. This part is also very interesting. There goes actually only like kick and snare for 1 minute. Or roughly 45 seconds. And then another part of the bridge with those organs. I believe there's also another layer, a bit of an X, and then once again, rejoice. So yeah, it's actually, I believe, rejoice is, I believe, the like the goal, the ultimate goal for your life. So actually, when you take the most out of your life, then you rejoice the most, I believe. So yeah. So to have joy in life, I believe is very important. I believe this is the message of this whole preach. So through constant change, you'll get constant joy. I could be wrong, but you know, I'm not that much into philosophy, to be honest. So philosophy was one of my hate subjects at school, because I had philosophy for a year. So in 11th grade, I had psychology, and in 12th grade I had philosophy, and I hated both of them. I believe psychology was even worse, although, you know, psychology is important, especially to Vienna, because of Sigmund Freud, and yeah, because he's from Vienna, and it's like because of his psychoanalysis, very famous also, like in the mainstream, I would even say. So yeah, tell me what you think about Rejoice. I would be open for any comments, whether on Facebook or on Insta. I want to play to you now Flashing Lights, one of my favorites. By the way, maybe one more thing about the cover or the artwork. I'm not very happy with the artwork. Some will say it's art, but to me it looks like a black plastic bag that was just, you know, felt down or actually together a bit. And actually, you know, to me that's not very artful, but you know, like maybe it has some deeper meaning behind it. Yeah, so Flashing Lights is coming up next. Hi Sonny, by the way. It would be nice if you could actually reply on Facebook, or on Instagram, wherever we are right now. But yeah, maybe we can talk about this later. Hope that you enjoy. So, actually, as you know, I'm not like the greatest fan of vocals, I would say. I don't mind vocals too much, so if you ask me what is more important to me, vocals or lyrics or melodies are too more important. In my opinion, that depends very much on the track itself. So when I listen, for example, to Austrian pop music, the vocals are more important to me. Yeah, this is one of the little tracks where it's really fall to the floor on rather usual tempo for me, I would say. Enjoy it very much. I believe one of my favorites on the album. Next to Grace, that I'm gonna also play you, and Fire and Warner, those are, I believe, my favorites. That I kind of, you know, on first listening, kind of, because actually, what I also have to admit is that I didn't have the time yet to listen to the album on one kind of, or in one piece, basically, so one track after another for 1.5 hours, because simply, I always want to do that, also today during work, but then I can't, because the boss comes in, and you know, when my boss is in the office, I can't, you know, listen to music via headphones, because it's so disrespectful. And you know, every time I kind of want to listen to the full album, I kind of go through halfway, and then I have to stop, or I have to take care of some other stuff, and don't have the time to listen to it anymore. So this are basically all first listening experiences. So usually, for example, what happens when I listen to Kollega's songs, for example, I love my favorite German rapper, it works like this, that the more I listen to them, the more I like them to a certain point, and then, you know, I'll listen to them less because I've listened to them already 100 times. So it's and I believe it could be similar to Human here. So the longer, so it's like a track on Human is like it's like a good wine, yeah. The older it gets, or the more listening to that case you do, the better the track gets, maybe. But you know, when it's about mixing and mastering, everything is fine. Some tracks I'm not very happy with the mixing, but then of course I can say, well, it is intended to mix it that way and not another way. So it's really tough to say. Yeah, hope you guys enjoying it so far. little comments on this one. But I'll try to upload it on YouTube later, because I definitely want to kind of share my thoughts on this. But then, of course, I believe that Facebook, or actually YouTube, won't allow me to upload it, but we'll see. So, I'm not sure about, Okay. So next up is Grace, number 5, that what I wanted to play to you. This kind of sound, we have this similarly on Break Me Down later, so it reminds me of Paris and Simonova. So maybe you remember this release from 2011, back on, was it 2010? I can't even remember, on Revealed. And this kind of reminds me of this a bit, with of course a bit slower and a bit more mature in the sounds. So now, of course, the question is which link I should drop. But I believe, let me check. If it is available on SoundCloud, then of course I'll drop the SoundCloud link. But I believe if not, then okay, it looks like everything is only preview. Or is it? No, it's only. Okay, no, it doesn't work like this. Give me a second, because I believe I'm gonna drop you this I believe I'm gonna drop you the Spotify link, because I believe many of you. Oh yeah. Okay, so there is a link to this, but I believe it's only SoundCloud Pro. So I believe when I drop the when I drop you the Spotify link, I believe it's better. So yeah, so this kind of a sound design reminds me very much of Paris and Simonova. So it's not as uplifting, maybe not as loud, but about the idea and the like general synth idea, it reminds me very much of it. So yeah. So I'm just gonna Google that, Human by Steve Angello, and I'll open it on I'll open it on on Spotify and listen to it. So actually what I do, I'm not gonna tag him anywhere, because I don't want him to know what I do, because I'm not sure whether he's happy with it. So yeah. So I'll drop you just the Spotify link. I believe this should be fine for now. All the usual platforms like Twitter, iTunes, Google Play. I believe I'm not sure about Beatport. I haven't checked Beatport yet, but I believe it should be there as well. So yeah, very nice build up here, and it's also like rather fall to the floor, but a bit slower than Flashing Lights. But when I was listening to this, I thought, wow, this is very nice. I like that. Not like very special. It's not like something that would change my world now or whatever. Like this is my general thought on the those are my general thoughts on the album, that it didn't really change my world or rocked my world very hard. Now it's very nice to listen to, easy listening was my first thought when I heard it. So maybe before I play you my next favorite track, I want to play 21, because this is very interesting, due to the reason that those are raw drums. So this is very interesting. So 21, I don't really know what to think about it. I believe most of you don't know what to think about it. Maybe he just wanted, I don't know, to kind of confuse us or whatever. I think my interpretation of this is like that. So let's maybe play the drums. That he wanted to kind of do some critique on society. That the society is getting too loud, too noisy, too whatever. and those, you know, why the raw drums, or he simply likes raw drums and wanted to make a track with raw drums. So I kind of know the rhythms for some reason, because I used to be in such a African drums workshop once when I was at school. I don't know, roughly, when was that? Oh my goodness, must have been, yeah, 10 years ago, or roughly, maybe 11, and I kind of know some of the rhythms already, because, you know, African drums are actually, you know, where they have more rhythms, not only 4 to the floor. Yeah, so very interesting to listen to, really. Give it a listen. You will be surprised what is on the album. So this is how it sounds like. So then I want to play you Wanna. That's what I also wrote down that I enjoyed. This is a bit slower, a bit, I don't know, that style is kind of, I don't know, Medion, Porter Robinson-esque. Maybe Gesaffelstein, I believe. Pursuit sounds very similar to this style. Pursuit is just, you know, a bit rougher, a bit raw. But yeah, also here, very nice ideas with the build-ups and X's. So yeah, and I believe Olindo wrote that down very nicely, that it's like a mix of Gesaffelstein, Brudinski, some older electronic music guys, Daft Punk, for example. But yeah, Daft Punk are a great example of, because I believe it was MacJ or someone wrote that how to ruin your career as a DJ is basically when you say something unnice, or like something, you know, aggressive. Prince production, maybe, yeah. What do you mean, like, if like Eric Prince helped him producing the album? I'm not sure if you mean about that. Hi Douglas, by the way, you just tuned into my Human review by Steve Angello. So yeah, what I wanted to finish is actually that, so some guys said something, for example, if you remember 10 Walls, he ruined his career by saying something homophobic, and then someone said, so that's why if you want to be successful as an electronic music artist or producer, you just don't have or must not say anything, and that's why Daft Punk are so successful for 20 years already, because they don't say a word. And that's why they are still successful. Of course, the music is amazing, but, you know, like, kind of the point he was trying to make is, you know, shut up and you will not lose fans. Kind of too long didn't read. Yeah, this is kind of the too long didn't read. Yeah, Antonio, I'm fine. Thank you so much. Tuned into my Human review. You should really like, I'll try to upload this on YouTube. Hopefully I'll get this through, because I have very amazing, interesting thoughts on, like, the general aspects of the album. You can hear a lot also. I can once again recommend you the Insta stories on the saved Insta stories on Steve Angello's Insta account, of course, where he actually did a Q&A and he saved all the questions. And I believe if you want to really know more about the background of the album, I believe this is very nice. Yeah, now actually, so that we had like this kind of a Gesaffelstein kind of vibe. Now we're going into the bit more melancholic vibes with the next track called The Kiss. So as I've already mentioned, I'm not going to play all these tracks. I'm just going to play you most of the tracks that you are that you requested this afternoon. I'm gonna play Shifted later as well, because that was wished by you, and I believe it's also like going into this direction for sure. Antonio? So, it also, like, you know, that's what I meant by made out of one piece. So it really fits. This is kind of a good example of the general sound of the album. a bit, you know, down-tempo electronica, not too slow, of course. But this is roughly, how much is this? 100 BPM? I believe it's 100. But it won't be faster, I believe. But I wish it could have been a bit faster. I guess it is a bit. So the BPM meter says 107. Yeah, BPM meter says 107. Best way to measure BPM, you know, do it yourself. So for those who don't know, very nice tool to do this, all8.com/tools/BPM. I'm gonna drop it in the comments because I believe nice tool for BPM measurement. I believe I dropped it already a couple of times, but I believe it's always very nice to have this. So yeah, so if you don't know the BPM, do it yourself, because I believe when you're having, you know, a kind of like, especially after like 8 years that I'm listening to electronic music almost every day now, I kind of have a feeling for the rhythm, right? Especially if it's 4/4, which is rather simple, I would say. It's tougher, you know, to do some 3/8 or 3/4. 3/4. So for example, like the Viennese waltz is 3/4. This is like very tough. It goes like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Now this is very, like, it's very unusual, right, for us as someone as people that know only 4/4, right? So yeah, I like the second drop more. It has like more of this kind of electronica vibe. And that's, you know, what I meant by I don't mind. In that case of, it's nice to listen to, but not really my taste. But it's very interesting because that's kind of a new feeling for me, I would say. Because usually when I listen to stuff that I don't like it, and then I'm also a bit disgusted, but not this time. So I don't know how Steve did it, but he did it somehow to kind of keep and kind of a dance approach to most of the tracks. I believe The Kiss is a very good example here. And yeah, and I believe, yeah, this is just, you know, a good, good example here. And yeah, congrats to Steve, I guess. Maybe, you know, maybe I think a bit too much about it and, you know, overthink it sometimes. But, you know, it's just, you know, my perception. You know, I have already such a huge knowledge. And that's why I love the Bisicast so much. And actually to have kind of a tool to present all those thoughts to you, or that I have with electronic music or with every single release. Sometimes they are a bit deeper, sometimes they are straightforward. So like here is a differ with, for example, Stadium X Legend. It is a bit easier to explain. But yeah, you get what I mean, right? So maybe I don't want, of course, to miss out the only rapper on the album, Pusha T, with the track Freedom. Very nice approach to kind of add a rap to kind of his album, because I don't listen too much to kind of rap outside my favorite rappers and all that, and especially in German, so that I can understand the lyrics usually. But yeah, he kind of made up a way to kind of make it sound listenable. I like the long build-up. I like this kind of, you know, let's go, this very small breakdown and then, you know, goes on. So yeah, sounds very interesting, as I've already mentioned. So
I've been winning for so long. OMG, no O-N-E. Fuck with the boy, ain't cold as he. Ain't what they
so to me, actually, the rhymes are not very like technical, but maybe they don't have to be technical. So tell me what you think about this, because actually we're having very little comments tonight, which I'm of course a bit ashamed of, because I would have loved to see actually more of you commenting on Steve Angello Human. But maybe on YouTube, maybe when you rewatch it afterwards, So yeah, I definitely didn't want to miss out on this one because I believe it's a very interesting approach, one of the more interesting tracks of the album. And I believe one of my last proper favorites next to yours, because Paradiso I like as well, is Fire, and I believe Nomen est Omen. The track is really fire, at least to me. So this was one of the tracks that, of course, I don't know, the title actually grabbed my attention, and then when I put it on, I really enjoyed it. So let's check it out. Yeah, the synth is very nice, very electro-esque, very similar to Grace, I would say. Or Wanna. Also, I believe that the titles don't have too much to say about actually about the tracks. I believe so. He didn't actually took a huge effort in like making up titles. So maybe, I don't know, one of them was maybe the working title and then it was the final title for the track, also on the album. That build-up is very nice. I actually don't have too much time to comment on this, so definitely check it out for yourself. So like, in general, I believe that, and my kind of survey today showed it, that everybody has his own or her own perception of the album. So like when you listen to it for the first time or maybe a couple of times, you like this track or this track. Some that I asked or told me that they find that it's too much of the same style in the album, or so thus it sounds a bit repetitive, which is also, I believe, an opinion that you can accept, you know. So yeah, it's very interesting to see like all those different opinions on this one. So what I wrote down is that you guys liked, so 3 of you liked Eros, Shifter, and Paradiso, and I'm definitely gonna play these tracks. I guess I haven't heard to them. Actually, I haven't listened to them too often yet. So let's check this again. Yeah, I know this FX. I heard this already a couple of times. I just don't know where. And it was not in Eros. It was somewhere else. Maybe some of you can help me out from the producers. Yeah, the bass line is very nice because it's really like a catchy melody. Surprised that the old guys like that. But yeah, it is very nice indeed. Okay, he plays around with the melody a bit. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice choice, guys. So the second drop is even better than the first one. So yeah, definitely understandable, the choice, for sure. Yeah. Also, this track has an outro and an intro, so you can actually play it straight in the club if kind of the crowd feels it. I'm not sure if the crowd can feel music like that, especially nowadays. So actually, this brings up actually something that I've been talking with Sabrina about yesterday. That actually the older you get, the more nostalgic you get. Like we're talking about old Nokias and Discmans. I don't know if you still have a Discman at home. So I do, I believe. That's the way we kind of consumed our music in our adolescence or like youth. So, what you also liked, back to topic, Steve Angello's Human, Shifter, and the intro reminds me of Save the World instantly, isn't it? A bit at least. Maybe actually he choked it off a bit, or chopped it off a bit. Yeah. mean, like, Save the World is so imminent in our heads, like, especially now after the kind of comeback of Swedish House Mafia, which is still actually, you know, they did the show and put out some merch, and that's it. And the merch is even a Vendrop malfunction, so congrats, shout out to the guys, or to everybody who paid $60 for bad quality. But you know, whatever you want. Actually, I don't want to criticize, but you know, to me at least it was not worth the money. Anyway, what do you guys like? Shifter. Oh yeah, this is the kind of a Gesaffelstein one that what Antonio already mentioned. Again, choirs. Yes, choirs are a huge kind of thing. So that's why actually I kind of asked a bit provocatively, is Steve Angello human now? Because we don't know, right? So just let me quickly check how Austria is doing in the semi-final of the song contest. I believe there's no break. Okay. Let's see if nothing actually stocks down, because I'm not sure. But it seems like there's a breakdown. There's a breakdown. So I want to go to. Okay. I hope that you're enjoying it. Your choice of. So okay, 7 to 12. So actually Austria is on after the first break. That's 9:58. Okay. Maybe we'll manage it up until then. Finish. Yeah. So actually, it's kind of it's built up or structured or arranged as a progressive house track, I would say, but it drops at kind of a not at a speed of a progressive house track. No, actually, it's fine. 125. 24. Yeah. So okay, it's fine. 124 is okay. I don't know. I mean, when I tap it, actually I know the BPM, but while listening, I don't have that much of a feeling. So I said I would have given this 120, but it is 124. So sometimes the synth can, you know, betray you a bit, I would say. Yeah, but I believe now we can also go over to Paradiso, and then I'm gonna play you, I believe, also the last 3 tracks. So many of you guys like Paradiso. I believe you are right. I like it as well. It builds up very slowly. Yeah, this track reminds me the most of Sia. So I believe that Sia was a huge inspiration for this track. So if you remember, for example, Mistakes or their Symphony remix, it kind of goes into this direction, right? So speaking of Sia, I'm going to play one track. Actually, I wanted to play it before, but then I forgot it. I played after the analysis of Human. Yeah. I believe the melody, kind of a Sia-ish, I would even say. So Sia actually comes up with usually with ideas like that. So tell me whether you agree on this or not. So yeah, I believe Mistakes and stuff like that was definitely an inspiration for this. I say inspiration because to me that's not a copy. It's like I kind of feel it again, you know, on these tracks. Yeah, I said it already, Antonio, you weren't online yet, I believe, on 21, that, yeah, it is kind of it is strange, but yeah, it is about, yeah, raw drums. Maybe maybe there's a deeper meaning behind it, maybe not, I don't know. It is strange for sure, but, yeah, depends on whether you enjoy it or not. So I believe Paradiso is very nice, and I believe that the Sia reference to this track kind of makes you enjoy it, I believe, the most. I like it as well. So what I also like, because it's Paris and Simo-esque, and I believe I played it to you already, Break Me Down, with the vocals. So... Actually, the vocals get more exciting or more uplifting the closer it gets to the drop. This is not... so you build it up both with tracks and with the vocal very nicely. What I meant, Paris and Simonova. So I feel like a flashback back into 2011, 2012. Oh, yeah, could be that it's capoeira. Yeah, that's what I meant with raw. You know, it sounds like there wasn't much. There's not much, there was not much done with the drums. No real reverb or echo or whatever. Not much EQing going on. So that's what I hear basically. Yeah, Adri, nice that you're still watching. Huge fan of you, and nice that you agree on this one. Yeah, maybe that's cultural. Maybe. Yeah, I believe that Steve Angello is a huge fan of Brazil because he does their at least 20 shows a year. So usually when he comes to Brazil, he's playing 4 shows one after another. So maybe he's a fan of Brazil and wanted to do drums like that. Yeah. So interesting that I kind of hear something like this again. So actually, I would have enjoyed it without vocals more because I don't mind vocals too much, as I've already mentioned a couple of times. Yeah. So. And to finish off, Eros and Nothing Scares Me Anymore, because someone, I believe, yeah, Sony likes Nothing Scares Me Anymore as well. Eros is a IDM track, intelligent dance music, so without any beat, so pure electronica. So some of you may find it inspiring. To me that's not electronic music, at least not in my understanding. It has its purpose, like you can, for example, study to this, have it in the background. If you, so usually when you're, for example, reading something or study or whatever, you don't want to have any beats and any vocals. So tracks like these, I believe, are very nice for this. So I have kind of myself, ripped off 15 hours of digitally important ambient, because some call it also ambient, and then actually, cut it off, the ads, and then actually, cinematic vibes, exactly. That's good. You can also say it like that. So very interesting, but to me, actually, not really. So yeah, like a sunset. Yeah, exactly. And I believe Pride had also a track like this on his album, but I believe not on Opus, but on... Was it an Opus? Can't remember. Maybe it was an Opus. Sunset on Ibiza, I believe it was called. Yeah. Nothing Scares Me Anymore, the final track. I believe also the vocals are here the most interesting part, or actually the best part about the track in general. Mac joined, thank you so much for joining. Very nice way with those strings, to finish the album. It's I believe it was a good idea to take a very strong vocal track to finish. You could usually, the outros are, there to be there basically. Actually, just electronic. So actually, I thought that Eros would be something to finish with. And actually the strings getting a bit more dramatic. So there you have those kind of cinematic vibes with vocals over it. Very unusual. Yeah, this could have been good for Eurovision, because maybe I gotta be watching also in a bit, because Austria is on. in roughly 20 minutes. Those trumpets and all this stuff reminds me a bit of Hey Brother. So, rather similar. By the way, if you don't know, for Sweden, actually, who is actually attending or actually singing for Sweden at the Eurovision Song Contest, it's Benjamin Ingrosso, who is the younger brother of Oliver Ingrosso, and they are both cousins to Sebastian Ingrosso. So it's all actually all connected. There's actually one huge Ingrosso family in Sweden there, because Oliver Ingrosso is known for tracks like I Track, together back then with Tim Berg. Rip. Yeah, I'm missing Avicii a lot. Yeah, I heard of this today. Yeah, it was close until the end, and then they got an empty net goal. Yeah, I just saw the sport news. Yeah, so yeah, it's all actually connected to each other. So yeah, that's about it from me from the Human review. Very interesting album. Easy listening for me. Not 100% my taste. Some are very nice on this one. I could have wished for extended, for like extended mixes to some of the tracks. I mean, some are in extended mixes, which is very nice. But usually, you know, like those electronica tracks, especially, like, are not very like not very much for extended mixes anyway, because you can't mix them. Like, you couldn't mix Eros into anything basically, because it's not having a bass line or a sub bass or beat or like whatever. So yeah. You can stream it on Spotify, and I believe buy it on the usual stores, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you want. I believe, interesting. Maybe one more thing to say about this, what I actually turned it down. Everything. I'm so sorry for that, guys. So who is writing me anyway on WhatsApp? So what I wanted to mention is maybe actually that Steve has not to do much with Size anymore, which I'm a bit sad, because I don't know, Size has a lot of potential, especially, you know, as a editor at Size Family. We are basically also depending on the content of Size, and I mean, of course, like, he releases his album on Size Records, no doubt about it, yeah, but you know, it's not, I believe Size should not be only about Steve Angello. It's, of course, we're having different artists as well, but yeah, I believe a bit more of diversity, both in like leadershiping the label and you know, and like artists, and, you know, different, you know, approaches to different projects would have been very nice, so that we, you know, have also a bit of a bit, you know, more to work with, yeah, so that we're not actually doing only like shadowing and resharing everything that Size is coming on, but actually do maybe a bit of more projects. I could have wished that for basically all of the families I'm involved in. So also the same goes for Axon Family, where it is not as bad as it is at Size, and Release Family is also not as bad. But yeah, I believe Release is still very young, and I believe third party don't know sometimes themselves yet where to go there, where to take their projects. But yeah, just, you know, just this kind of my kind of 2 pence to this. But yeah, if you're enjoying the album, very nice. If you don't, that's also alright. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. My review, I'm gonna play you maybe 2 or 3 more tracks